All right, we are on. Uh, this is interesting, coming from me to do this, but you know what? We got to show love to our Big 12 teams, no matter who they are. So, KU, this one is for you. Welcome to Storm the Field KU, presented by Tree City Sports. I'm your host, CJ McClure. I had this issue the other night. Maybe it's just a Twitter thing.
No, you're all good, man. You're all good. Ugh,
Anyway,
happy to.
as I was trying to say, welcome to Storm the Field KU presented by Tree City Sports. This is exciting for me. How are you feeling about it?
Happy to be here, man. Nothing better,
Yeah,
baby.
it's definitely a lot of fun. And I've got a surprise for my KU people, but I have to show off the shirt I'm currently wearing because this is the from the Sweet 16 that I went to in Kansas City, which coincidentally, who went to the Elite Eight that year? K-State. So I had to say that. I'm sorry, but this one is actually for you.
Hey, that's like, oh man, that's a sin, man.
Yeah, I know. It feels so wrong. I can feel my body boiling on the inside. Oh, but no, I've had this for a couple years. I got it for like $10 somewhere. I can't remember where, and I was like, I love the way that looks. Like I have to have it.
That's not bad. I've got all mine for like $100 a pop. They're not cheap.
Yeah, no, they are not. I've got last year I went to all but three home K-State games, and I got the regular one without a name on it with the 24, and that's signed by the entire team minus
Oh,
Naquan
jeez.
Tomlin. My son has one that's the lavender one of that. Mine is white. His is lavender, but his is signed by the entire team, including Naquan Tomlin and Gabby Gregory, who I did a show with a while back, and and then I've got Cam Carter and Taj Manning's both signed by him. So it was a great experience.
That's awesome, dude. Oh man, I wish I had those experiences.
Yeah, luckily last year we weren't great, so we were able to get tickets fairly cheap to most of the games, and we weren't sitting very far from the court.
Yeah, for us it's like 175 to go the home basketball games. So a lot less than you would have to spend if you weren't a student, but it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I live I live in Ottawa,
Hmm.
so I live right outside of Lawrence basically. And it's cheaper for me to drive to Manhattan and go to a K-State game than it is to go to a KU game that's, 15 minutes away.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Every like mid-major team is tickets are $50. It's like nothing better, nothing better.
Yeah, no, I haven't gotten to go to a game there, but I really, really want to just because I know the atmosphere is insane inside Allen Fieldhouse.
If you're a college football fan, you have to go to Allen Fieldhouse, man. It is a must.
Yeah,
It is a must. It's a bucket list item.
yeah, no, I believe that. My cousin who is a season ticket holder at K State and who I go to a bunch of games with,
And
he has been to Allen Fieldhouse several times. He was a KU fan, but as he got older, he has converted. He's changed his ways, and he's always been a K State fan too. But he was more prominent about KU when he was younger. So I'm glad we could convert him.
I grew up in a Mizzou household, so I get how that goes.
Oh, that's even worse.
I never was a Mizzou fan, but yeah. Somehow I just found KU, and it's like, holy crap, this is my team.
Yeah, yeah, no, I would rather you be a KU fan than a Missouri fan all day, every
There's
day.
nothing worse in the world than a Missouri fan,
Exactly. That's like one of the few things we can all agree
for
on.
sure.
And fuck Texas.
I'm not. I'm not.
Horns
I'm
down.
not against Texas as much as I am against Oklahoma.
See, it's the opposite for us. Like we don't like we had a good rivalry with Oklahoma, but it was Texas that we really didn't like.
Things got really freaking chippy at the OU Kansas game when we beat them last year. So it's like
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
can't.
do remember
I
that.
just can't stand their fan base.
Yeah. No, and honestly, Oklahoma and Texas both absolutely belong in the
Oh,
SEC.
they absolutely do. Ugh.
So does Missouri. And at least we don't really have to listen to them.
Missouri does not belong in the SEC. Missouri belongs in the Missouri belongs in the MVC. We'll say that.
Yeah. They belong in the G5 with SMU.
Oh yeah, for sure, for
Maybe
sure.
that'll be a good trade since Florida State wants out. Maybe the SEC will trade Florida State for Missouri.
Nah, it's awesome watching them have actual football expectations for once, and then just falling short. I always like Missouri does,
Yep, exactly.
and then we get to beat them by 40 at their house in December. So can't
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah, no, the expectations around Missouri are always high every year, and then they didn't win a single conference game at all last year, did they?
No, they did not. They they won their first. They won their first basketball game in 2024. What, like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I have no idea how they didn't fire Dennis Gates. He cannot coach for the crap.
Yeah, and it's really sad that it's not really sad. I'm actually having a good time watching that show because it's just like how do you make those decisions to keep a coach that's obviously failing you in so many ways?
Yeah, he went to the NCAA tournament just like Tang his first year, and then everything after has just been disappointment after disappointment.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I know. And the problem with K-State right now is the fact that we're doing a lot of the exact same things that cost us games last year. I mean, you see too much standing around the 3-point line just waiting for a shot and
Yep,
not being able to rebound efficiently.
that's an aspect you get when you add a sharpshooter like Hausen, I guess, and then Coleman Hawkins.
He,
We won't talk about him.
yeah, yeah, we're not going to discuss that because like it's just when you're paying someone that much, you'd like to see a lot more effort and you'd like to see him at least want to interact with the fans no matter what. Show he's appreciative of all the people that chipped in to help him
he,
come
he's
here.
definitely got a bit of an attitude problem. I will say that him charging after the LSU player and then Cam Carter getting up all in his face. How does
Yeah.
that? How?
Yeah, I know. And I'm like one of the biggest Cam Carter lovers in the world. Like, he's one of my guys. I spent a lot of time last year actually talking to him and stuff. And I was hoping his return to Ace into Manhattan was going to be awesome, and it was for him.
Mm-hmm.
Just not for us.
Yeah. How was that an offensive foul? By the way, there's no shot that should have been an offensive foul.
Yeah, it was questionable, very.
Whatever. LSU ends up getting the dub, and then
Yeah,
Kansas 5-0. It's been touch and go here for a little bit, but I don't hate the way we're playing right now.
yeah. No, it could be a lot worse. I mean, you have a lot of talent on. this KU team, and it's just a matter of being able to fit the right pieces in the right places at the right times.
Yep.
But I think as the season goes on and when you get into Big 12 play, which is going to be incredibly difficult on everyone that's in the conference, they're going to get it figured out. And they may have some games that don't go quite the way they want, but they're going to win a lot of games, more than they lose for sure.
Yes, they will. Upping the conference schedule from 20 or from 18 to 20 games. Excuse me. Uh, it'll be interesting to see what coaches prioritize most. I think you might see a little bit bigger margin victory wins just because do coaches prefer resting their players over uh, trying to keep a game close when you're down 10 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you get later into the season and you're more worried about the tournament and stuff, going into the conference tournament the last few games, it doesn't really matter unless you're close to someone else in terms of seeding for the Big 12 tournament.
Yep, KU, it really shouldn't matter. They're probably going to get a tourney bid anyways, starting at preseason number one. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
We shouldn't prioritize the Big 12 tournament at all. If we win the Big 12 regular season, great. If we don't, get ready for the tournament. Come out swinging.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't matter how they do, excuse me, in the Big 12 tournament, they always play great when it comes to March Madness.
Last year, you could kind of see that Big 12 play just taking a toll on our players, and it did not end well. Should have lost to Samford. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, no, like I said, the Big 12 is so competitive that every single game is going to be tough because everyone you play, no matter if you're playing on the road or at home, you've got a good team against you, and it's going to be tough.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see this year. There's gonna be some pretty good teams in it. Arizona's kind of looked shaky as of recent. I mean, who did they lose to the other day?
I can't remember. I do remember seeing that.
It wasn't like a huge upset, but they kind of got their butts. Oh, they lost to Wisconsin. They lost to Wisconsin. I guess that is a bit of an upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, because that's not a great basketball program.
an ugly, ugly game, by the way.
Yeah.
I think what Tanjay shot like 23 free throws or something like that. Just hack a shack out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those deals that as a fan you're like, I want to see someone drive to the hoop. I don't or shoot a good shot. I don't want to see free throws literally every trip down the court.
Yeah, that's kind of how our second half against North Carolina went. It's just like this is borderline unwatchable.
Yeah, one of the two OU games, Ottawa University games that I went to covering uh this year so far, there was I think it was four possessions straight in our home building where the other team went down the court and there was maybe a little contact, but they called a foul on four possessions in a
No,
row.
geez.
And when you're at home and it's like, what are we doing
Mm-hmm.
here? And they weren't like hard fouls or anything.
Yep. I have a feeling
And
we're
I can't wait to get the one from last night done for the men's game. I got the women's done and released, but I need to get the men's game done
awesome.
because during that game, there was a flagrant foul that was absolutely no question. I was recording it, luckily, so it's getting in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching the ball, but it's on the corner of the screen. You can see it as one of our players is running down the baseline, cutting under the basket.
Hmm.
One of their players looks over his shoulder, sees him coming, and throws his
Oh,
elbow and hits him
jeez.
right in the face.
Oh,
I was
jeez.
like, oh, because I was watching the ball, so I look over and he's laying on the ground. I'm like, well, that seems weird. Then they're really checking it for a foul, so I go back and watch the
Hmm.
footage, and I was like, oh. And so I went and I was talking to the athletic director at OU at the time, and I showed her, and she just,
Oh, jeez.
it was brutal.
Yeah.
And as he's walking out, he tells the uh like the head trainer or whatever, uh he goes, well, I was just trying to break his nose.
Hmm.
Or I was just hoping to break his nose, I think is what his comment
Good
was.
Lord, dude.
I get it, it's a conference game, but come
Yeah.
on.
How's Ottawa?
You ain't that big of
How's
rivals.
Ottawa doing it, by the way?
The men's team is actually doing pretty good. I know we've won the two games that I've been to,
Hmm.
so that's a great step up. And the women's team has a lot of talent, but they've lost the last two at home that I went to, unfortunately. So I'm good luck for one, bad luck for the
That's
other.
kind of how it goes. Ugh.
Yeah, it's like K State, how our men's team isn't that great, but our women's team could contend for a national championship.
Awesome, dude. I'm glad to hear it. I'm not a big follower of Ottawa NAIA, or are they?
Yeah, they're
Got
NAIA.
you.
The national championship comment was about K State's team, but yeah. No, actually,
Oh,
I think that
got you.
uh, either one of these teams really could compete for a at least to go pretty far in the national tournament.
Yeah,
So there's
K
hope.
State women's. I need to start betting on them. They beat everybody by so much. It's incredible.
Yeah,
I wonder how they'll look. I wonder how
yeah,
they'll look against like top programs. Like if they ever end up running into like South Carolina or something like that. That'd be a good game to watch.
yeah. Well, we beat Iowa last year,
Hmm. Twice, didn't you?
and I yes, twice.
Nice.
Yep. We actually I got to do an interview because I was shooting a training session, a private training session for Gabby Gregory that played on last year's K-State's
Hmm.
women's team. And she was telling me that I asked her just what was that like getting to play with Caitlin Clark and against her. And she goes, it was really, really cool, but being able to get the win was even
Oh
better.
yeah, anytime you go up against a big time program like that, it's if you get out there with a win, it's like, ugh, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I asked her because she was playing for Oklahoma against K State when Aoka Lee scored 61 points. And I asked her about that, and she goes, that was just brutal for us. Like, we don't know how we let that happen, but getting to play with her, she is an amazing player one on one.
Yeah, I didn't pay too much attention to women's basketball last year, but now that we got two 5 stars in 2 days, it's gonna be next year. I'm gonna pay attention a lot more. And then we,
Oh yeah. No, I think that the Big 12 men's and women's is going to be the best conference in the nation in basketball.
hopefully, Big 12 conference domination is always the best.
No way. Cleveland just got a touchdown on fourth and goal.
Yeah, I know. Steelers are kind of choking this one
Of course,
away.
it's snowing like crazy.
I know, dude. I have George Pickens over 60 yards, and it's not looking great.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh man. I wonder how they feel about paying Deshaun Watson that much to not be able to play.
Yeah, I mean, he had a season-ending injury, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, even with him,
Oh, he caught it.
they're awful.
Yes, they are. That you got to feel grateful for. You got to think Baker Mayfield feels grateful to get out of that situation
Uh,
and to go to Tampa
I
Bay.
personally think they screwed Baker Mayfield, and
Yes.
then he bounced around here for a little bit. He went to Rams, and he went to Panthers, and now he's with the Tampa Bay Bucks, and he's lighting it up, dude.
Yeah, and once he settled with the Bucks, acted. He seemed like he fit there
Yeah,
perfectly.
he's QB3 in fantasy right now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a baller. He knows what it takes to win the games.
Yeah, yeah, he was just put in a bad situation in Cleveland. He led them to their first playoff win in how long?
Hmm.
And, then they basically just said, oh, Deshaun Watson's available. You know what? We don't need to worry about his allegations.
Fresh off of 24 sexual assault allegations.
And then there were more earlier this year.
Yeah, it's crazy how that man still has a job, dude. Any other profession,
Yeah,
he's sitting his butt at home right now.
yeah, I agree.
Ugh.
Yep. Yeah, no, as a Chiefs fan, the one I hated the most was Dwayne Bowe because he would make insane catches that, normal people don't
Hmm.
make. And the Odell Beckham type catches. But when the ball hit him in the hands and he was wide open, he would drop it more times than he would catch it.
Yeah, sounds like most of our receivers nowadays, dude.
Like, what is going on? And then he went to Cleveland and released the rap video.
What's that?
I said, then he went to Cleveland and released his rap video.
Yeah. Ugh. I'm grateful to have Patrick Mahomes on the Chiefs, man. It's
Yeah, more than anybody could ever know after as many years of horrible football that we had to go through.
Matt Castle. Oh man, freaking Trent Green.
Elvis Gerbach,
Oh my lord.
I I grew up going to games, and so Elvis Gerbach is one of my most hated quarterbacks. Like,
Hmm.
he wasn't as bad as I make him out to be, but my God, was he awful.
Yeah, I think my favorite Chiefs quarterback of all time has to be Alex Smith. I mean, he was the
Yes.
one who got this thing started. I mean, Patrick is great and all, but my first love was Alex Smith.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he did really, really good, and then he got hurt, and then this deal in Washington, that was absolutely
Uh huh.
brutal.
I feel for the guy.
Yeah. Now, the injury that for Kansas City that really got me was the Trent Green one
Hmm.
because I was at the game when he got the first
Hmm.
concussion and it knocked him out for several weeks.
Yeah.
And then when he came back, I think it was the first game he came back. We were at that one too. And then he got the next concussion that basically ended it for
Oh,
him.
jeez, man, that is brutal.
So I had to watch both of
That's
those.
brutal.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm getting out to Arrowhead this weekend to watch KU football, baby. Can't wait.
It is a lot of fun there being at Arrowhead, comparatively.
No, I'd actually rather have games on campus. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Number one, you don't have to deal with traffic.
Makes tailgating 10 times easier because if you're at a house, you can just walk to the game. And
Yep.
then there's just not. I know people say it's a dump hole, but David Booth Memorial Stadium is. It's one of my. It has to be one of my top sports stadiums of all time. I don't know if I've ever made more memories inside of a stadium. It does not. It doesn't look pretty, granted, but the memories I've made there, it's just it makes it top tier. Uh,
Dying over my drink.
nah, it's all good, dude.
Shout out Arrowhead Nutrition. He sponsors our normal show. This actually isn't the drink that they made because I had one from last night going to OU's game, and I totally forgot to include it in the videos. So I was like, you know what? I'll just make some propel with. Excuse me, some propel with some like Mio or something, and that'll be good enough.
I got you. Yeah, but that was.
It's a sticker that matters.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm really excited to go to Arrowhead and watch KU. I mean, Devin Neal's last game, it has the chance to be an all timer.
Yeah, no, it'll be a lot of fun. I mean, he is a absolutely phenomenal running back. Like I said before the season begins that he's going to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the Big 12 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's just hometown kid building the program. You can't make it up. He is.
And for him to stay in Lawrence is another cool story itself.
He's probably the perfect characterization of the new era of KU football. I would say.
Yeah.
I would say Jason Bean rivals him as the best one, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yep.
if
And I think that uh KU's a lot better now than they were at the beginning of the season because it seemed really, really rough
yeah,
after the start of the season. And it, I don't think it's necessarily on Coach Leipold, but the way his wife reacted to y'all on here was pretty brutal.
yeah,
And even we were like, whoa.
yeah, that was crazy, dude. We were having a meltdown over there. Uh, but yeah, I think part of the change from early in the season to now is Jalen Daniels looks like a whole different quarterback. I mean, early in the season, he hadn't played in what, like 365 days, so he had a bit of rust going on for him. You could obviously tell that by the picks he threw, the mistakes he made, blah blah blah. But also going up against really good UNLV and Illinois teams, it's just like there was no time for him to prepare going into conference season. Ugh.
Yeah, no, he actually has bounced back, recently in a great way because it didn't look great at the beginning. But I mean, what was it? Your second game, you came out and put up 48 points, and it gave everybody a lot of hope
Mm-hmm.
there.
I also think Jeff Grimes is kind of adjusted as he's gone on as well. You don't see the wide receiver screen as much as you did in the first 3 weeks of the season. Those were awful.
Yeah, yes, and I think that they made the adjustments that Oklahoma State should have made.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the heck has happened to Ollie Gordon, and they're pretty much without a quarterback over there. I mean, is Alan Bowman still starting?
I believe he is. I'll try and get Jeremy to get on here if he comes on.
Yeah, that guy needs to update his
But
LinkedIn page and go work at Wells Fargo or something because it's not working out for him.
well, he has a lot of talent, and so the talent is there. It's just I think that the deals before the season affected the whole season for him.
Yeah, I guess so. I was talking about Alan Bowman for the LinkedIn page, by the way. I
Oh yeah, no, yeah, yes.
I watched him, and he does not have a ton of talent at all, in my opinion. Gordon, yeah, it was a rough deal with his early season situation, and then Mike Gundy also hasn't impressed me at all this year either.
Yeah, yeah, his comments during Big 12 media days were interesting. But I'll tell you what, he has given us nonstop clips of gold this
He's just
year.
Yeah,
trying to
it
get
is.
fired. That's all it is.
That's what we were talking about the other day, is that, it really does seem like he's just like, what can I do? What are they gonna do? Fire me? Who
I mean,
cares?
Yeah,
he's got a big pay. I mean, the payout's going to be massive. I mean, he can't really. I mean, the university's kind of stuck where they're at. But yeah, I mean, sticking with Bowman. I mean, I knew last year, like whenever Bowman said he was coming back, I knew that we are pretty much screwed because he. I mean, he wasn't impressive at all last year, and it's weird because when he was at Texas Tech, he had some games where he just balled smooth out. And then, so he goes to Michigan and does nothing up there. Then when he comes back down here, everybody was kind of excited because, well, he got to work under J.J. McCarthy. He got to work underneath Harbaugh and all that stuff. So everybody was pretty pumped. And granted, like last year, he had a couple games where he looked decent. But, at this point, he's had no more development. And if you watch him, I mean, he's gained at least 30 pounds, not in muscle, but he is just non athletic.
He's letting himself go.
Yeah, and it's like, but I knew last year whenever they said he was coming back, I was like, that is the only thing that I think could really bring this team down. And it's really, I think, what the problem is, and as far as Ollie's concerned, for Kansas, the thing that I was telling these guys the other night was Ollie has been it's just kind of coming out to where you're seeing that Ollie really is just as motivated as he wants to be. If he can't run against Tulsa, I mean, I don't remember. I think it was like 57 yards. I'll have to go look. He had 57 yards against Tulsa. I don't care how bad of an offensive line you've got. There is no way on God's green earth someone that big and that talented can't do it. And yeah, it might be the DUI, but that's distracting him. But dude, it's weird to me because it's like everybody talks about his DUI like it's this big. How many players have gotten DUIs? It shouldn't be that. It
Oh, a
shouldn't be that
bunch.
big of a
Georgia
distraction.
Georgia has about 40 of them.
Yeah. So it to me it's
And a
weird.
couple of them resulted in a death.
Yeah. It's just weird to me. I mean, the whole season. It just I think we're seeing it's been coming on for years now, but I think now we're really seeing the beginning of the end of Gundy and I'm thankful for him. I mean, 19 consecutive seasons of going to bowl games, like that's awesome. Uh, winning two New Year's Six bowl games, it's awesome. But the program is in so much better shape now than it was when he got there. And everybody as alumni thinks that, well, if he leaves, then it's going to go back to the way it was in the 90s. I don't think that's the case because now, love him or hate him, OU in Texas is gone. There's not the big shadows that we used to have. Now everybody's kind of on an equal playing field in this conference.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to make a decision soon, man. I mean, and everybody acts like, it's just one bad season. It's like, yeah, but in the NIL and transfer portal era, one bad season is a lot more detrimental than it was 5, 6 years ago.
Hey, man, I'm a Kansas fan. I'm right here with you. At the
Well,
beginning of the season, it looked pretty damn rough. I'm not going to lie. I thought our recruiting and our NIL window it was down the gutter before it even started. I mean,
well, yeah, and to me, I have to put myself in, and I don't mean this to make fun of you guys by any stretch of the imagination. I appreciate Kansas fans. And, I even look back like Iowa State 10 years ago, some of
mhm.
these schools, it's like their fans still showed up, and like right now, OSU fans are like, just jump off. It's never coming back again. We just need to find somebody new. And I don't know if you've ever seen that guy. He posts a lot of stuff for OSU, Willie Football, Willie Foosball, I forget Wilson Balls, what they call him
Oh
now.
yeah.
Mhm.
He's the worst because he's the one that I'm gonna go in the fan portal. Like, dude, it's one bad season. I mean, I know you're joking. I
Yeah.
understand that you're joking, but you're just a sore loser. And I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? It was bound to happen anyways. Everybody's team, even Alabama, Georgia, within the next 20, 30 years, they will have a losing season. It
Yeah.
will happen, so but I feel for you guys that had to go through so long, man. But I'm glad to see you guys are back, you know.
It's been it's been a painful road. I mean, yeah. Again, I was in the doomer state of mind. And then these last two games have happened, and it's like I think we're gonna get a big turnout this weekend at Arrowhead. So
I hope you guys win, man.
it'd be a dream, man. I can't tell you how much I hate Prime and Shador and Travis Hunter, man. It's nonstop. The media is just yeah.
And I
They're
think I think people are really like last week after they beat Utah. I think everybody is kind of like inflating that win quite a bit. I'm like, dude, Utah's ass right now. Like they are not good. Like their defense, which is before the season, there was a lot of people calling this defense world class, and now we're seeing that no, they are not world class defense. I mean, everybody's been able to score on them. And, unfortunately, I think they knew going into that game that their season was over with and their motivation is just gone. So I think you guys got a lot better chance than Utah had at beating them.
mhm. Oh man, everybody talking about Travis Hunter and that interception last week. He didn't even do anything. He was in the right place at the right time. He just caught the ball. I was like,
It just fell to
who
him.
is I cannot stand the national media. Oh my god, the SEC bias is just
Well, it cracks me up. It's like I don't remember if you guys, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but Bleacher Report got just dogged on. It was during the UCF game when Travis Hunter, I forget who it was. I mean, it was a touchdown. It was like a 75-yard touchdown throw from UCF, and the dude scored the touchdown, but he was running like he caught it at like the 30-yard line and he was blazing down the sidelines. And all of a sudden, you see Travis Hunter come up behind him. Travis never touched him, but he was within like 3 or 4 yards of him. And instead of saying, wow, that was a great touchdown by UCF, they were like, wow, what good athleticism by Travis Hunter. I'm like, what are we doing here?
there
And,
there is no world in which Ashton Janty is having the season he is having and he should not win the Heisman.
and what's funny, and what's
100%.
I
funny is Travis Hunter sitting there bashing Genty. Like, what the fuck?
that's
Why are
all
you
they do.
doing this?
That's all they do over there. They just talk and talk and talk and talk and somebody needs to shut them up. Hopefully that'll be Kansas.
I wouldn't be
It
surprised.
would be
I
nice
would not be.
for the rest of the real Big 12.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Lance Leipold is over here uh, basically blowing Prime, and it's like, oh my god, dude, come on. Lance Leipold had started in D3 like 20 seasons ago, and he's like, me and Coach Prime have had kind of a similar upbringing. Coach Prime started at Jackson State like 5 years ago. It's like
Mm.
this is not even remotely close to what you were up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we were discussing in the KU chat the other day that I had to look it up, and it was, what was it? He was coaching as a it was a quarterbacks coach a year before Dion was even out of college.
Hmm.
Like, then you compare the two.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't get the hype, but the national media does, so can't do anything about it.
Yeah, the attention is good for the conference, but when you're not producing the way that you keep saying that you're going to produce, it doesn't look good on you at all.
I think once Shador and once Travis Hunter are gone, and is Shiloh graduating this year too?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
you're going to hear a lot less about Prime. Huh.
Well, now they got that Juju Lewis. He committed to him today.
Yeah, I
You know the
saw
one.
that.
So I'm sure they're going to find some way to inflate him. I don't see the hype train for him going down because I mean it kind of did a little bit this year because remember last year like every game was like, oh look, The Rock is here. Oh look, like who gives a fuck, who's here at the games, man? But they kept
Hmm.
making that a big deal. But this year, it kind of went down a little bit. But I still think
It's still
I still
ridiculous.
think the first second a big SEC job comes up, he's gone. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't
did.
know though. I don't know if the SEC buys into Prime the way Colorado does.
They're talking about him going to FSU. I could see that, I guess,
It's his alumni.
but I don't know. They're in the AC.
There's no chance that any NFL team, in their right mind anyway, should want him on their staff in any way,
Oh, I
honestly.
could see several NFL teams making a move in a heartbeat for him.
I could
Yeah, they
see
would
Jerry
regret that
Jones
Yeah.
doing that.
instantly. They would regret that.
Like they think of Carolina I think Carolina Panthers would be.
Yeah, well, remember when fucking sorry, who was the who went to the NFL that was a CFB coach and it was an awful.
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer, yeah.
Well, Urban
Urban
Meyer's one,
Meyer,
but there's
yeah.
multiple.
Yeah, Nick
Nick
Saban.
Saban, yeah. Remember when
Nick
Nick Saban
Saban,
was on the
that's
Dolphins?
it
That was like the
was.
worst season ever. There's no way he would translate to the NFL. It just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, you've seen time and time again college football coaches. There's quite a few of them that just
It's a
cannot
different game.
succeed
It's just
in
not the
NFL.
same.
Yeah,
And fucking Travis Hunter has been
Yeah, and the
talking a
amount of
massive
money
amount
they're
of shit.
making.
I really hope we beat the fuck out of them.
dude, I hope Kobe rocks the absolute shit out of
Dude,
him.
he's like, dude, they have one of their coaches that has like a fucking mohawk, and he was like talking all this shit on Twitter. It's like, dude, you're a 60-year-old man with a mohawk.
Oh my
Warren
gosh,
Take
Sapp.
you
it
fucking
was Warren
seriously.
Sapp,
It was Warren Sapp.
NFL Hall of Famer Warren Sapp.
Embarrassing. And they call he fucking oh yeah, oh yeah, Jalen, he's a midget. What are you even talking about? He's like 5'11". He's like 6'2", right? What?
Yeah,
He's
dude.
6 foot, right?
I mean, ugh, man.
And that's not a fucking problem.
I hope we.
He's gotten better too. Like you can't even hate on Jalen right now. He's been fucking really good for the last 3 weeks.
He's been looking like an NFL quarterback lately. I mean,
He had a bad start, but I can't even really blame him at this point. It's honestly, it was just the play calling was terrible, and he's looked really good in these last 2 games. Shit, that's the first time KU was beaten a 2 ranked teams in a row ever in our entire history as a school in football program. So
yeah.
can you really hate him?
No,
I mean,
no, you
really,
can't.
he's been performing like fucking amazing.
He was he was the one who got us here in the first place.
Yeah, no, fuck. If we could beat Colorado, I'll just say it right. I really hope we win out. Honestly, I'm gonna be there. I have season tickets, but
If we beat 3 ranked teams in a row, we should be ranked.
yeah, to end the season. Seriously, I mean, even like if we can end this season, like if we can win out the rest of this season, we should be ranked. It's like no shit. Like I mean, at that point we're 6-6. We just had a literally. I think they were talking like I was listening to the radio and they're like talking about like the luck rank. I don't know what they used to determine the luck or whatever, but they said that the luck of teams and all the NFL teams or all the CFP teams, and it was like BYU was the luckiest team and then KU was the least luckiest team.
And then Jalen Daniels drops a punt
Yeah,
on the BYU defender's head.
exactly. No, that was like the best play call I've seen all fucking season. Like they punt the football with the quarterback, punt, and they didn't see it coming. Like I mean, like you punt it off of the fucking cornerback, or it was it a safety? The cornerback's the cornerback's helmet. And then the ball's in play. And then they get the fucking ball at the fucking in the red zone. Because they had Quentin Skinner there to fucking pick it up. When the dude like failed to get it. The field was icy too. It was perfect. Because it was fucking below freezing. Like seriously, it was the perfect play call. That was the best play calling I've seen all fucking season. And it won us the fucking game. More of that if we're gonna beat Colorado, please.
So Quentin Skinner is my brother-in-law's first cousin. Little tidbit for y'all.
Dang, he's picked it up these last
That's
couple
awesome.
weeks.
He's from Claremore, Oklahoma.
Man, if he would have
Claremore homie.
If he would have just caught that ball against K-State, oh man.
That's not even his fault. Like seriously, because like I mean, yeah, he should have caught that ball, but it's like the reason we lost that game is because we got the ball at the 1 yard line and then they got a safety. That's the only reason we lost that game. And that was like the worst thing I've ever fucking seen. It's like we lose to K-State with the dumbest shit possible. It's so stupid.
Was the worst call at the 1 yard line I've ever seen. Just QB sneak it for heaven's sakes. No, it's the same damn shit every year. I'm tired of it.
No, and I like I said, I repeat this over and over. I genuinely feel so bad for KU because it's obvious they have insane talent through and through this roster. It's just they haven't been able to use them in the right way, and they've had a disappointing season from what everybody thought they were going to have.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, if Jalen can perform, apparently he's coming back next season. From everything I've heard, I don't think they've said it, but it's like the insider fucking quote unquote takes on like 247 or whatever.
Yeah, I've
like if he comes back and he performs like he has these last 3 weeks, then yeah, good. And we're getting that 4-star wide receiver basketball combo player,
Jaden Mickens.
Yeah, and if we can get some transfers, because we're gonna be really low on wide receivers. I'm not saying we're gonna honestly, I knew before the season that our expectations were way too fucking high. Everybody was like, we're gonna win the Big 12. Like, I didn't see that shit happening. But I didn't think it was gonna be this bad. But like, if we can win out the rest of the season, and if he's coming back, if he continues to perform, then yeah, I think we can at least be decent enough to like win like 7 games, hopefully. That's all I really ever wanted as a KU fan. Because we've sucked for so fucking long.
You got the new booth coming too. It's going to be electric next year. I can't wait.
Hope so.
Anyways. What time is the KU game this weekend?
2:30.
Yeah, it's 2:30. Chinese dentist time.
I'll be out there at 11 o'clock tailgating.
Yes, I will be too.
And you got the night game, don't you?
One thing that do what?
You guys the night game, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I think we're the evening game.
Cincinnati got a chance this weekend?
But no, I don't think so. I know that I can't speak on what's going on at this moment because of certain things, and I'm kind of amazed it hasn't been leaked yet. But there are some things that happened with Coach Kleiman's family, and he wasn't at practice a lot of the week, and it really affected the way that they played, and none of the coaches stepped up in his absence, and it was just a bad showing. So if they were actually prepared, there's no way they lose that game.
I don't know.
Have you done a deep dive into Cincinnati yet?
Not terribly deep into them.
Their rushing attack is hellacious.
Yeah.
Corey Kiner, yeah, I
Yes.
mean he's good. So I mean, I don't know. It seems like everybody's kind of had trouble with that, but I mean, the one thing that I would be a little worried about is, Cincinnati. They're trying to get that sixth win of the season, so they're going to give it their all. I can guarantee you that much.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's going to be a hard fought game. I fully expect Cincinnati to come out and at least make it close basically all game long.
I think so. I think K State just beats them in talent terms wise. I
Hmm.
mean, I've been looking at.
Yeah,
I looked at
Oh,
the.
it's in Manhattan, isn't it?
yes, it
Oh, okay.
is.
Okay. Well, I don't know why I was thinking it was in Cincinnati. Yeah, yeah. You should be fine then. I was going to say, if it was at Nippert at night, then I would think that Cincinnati would have a little bit, not really an advantage, but just have enough on their side where I think it can make it competitive. But not, you guys should win.
Are you guys playing?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
sorry. Go ahead.
uh one thing I'll say is it's our last home game, and I have to really pray that it does not snow because I have horrible PTSD from a certain snowy final home game of last year that I just happened to go to.
Or even the raining game against Houston. I mean, that gave them
Yeah.
tons of advantage over you guys.
Yes, it did.
So
And the bad thing was is we could have run the ball in that game more effectively than we did, and it was really irritating as a fan to know what they should have called in those situations and watching them do the opposite.
I have no idea what Connor Riley's doing over there. I watched K State last week, and it's like, oh my Jesus! It's like the play calling was just why aren't they running Avery Johnson more? That's my question.
And that was one of the things that was discussed in a staff meeting very early in the week was that Coach Kleiman told Connor Riley, cut him loose, let him run the ball. He's really good at it. Just let him go. Let him play his game. So it was just I think that's what you get when you make an offensive line coach your offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Ugh. But no, I think you guys should be good going into next year. I'm not sure what your return rate looks like, but I think you'll be fine. Avery Johnson's going to have his growing pains, sure, but K State's a contender year in year out. You guys should be fine.
Oh yeah, no, we'll be fine on that end. And I think that all of our, commits are in place and stuff. And people were freaking out after, you know, the last game where we just weren't prepared because excuse me, because of the issues in the with the coaching staff and stuff. But uh I know that everyone was very emotional during that game, and so it was really, really hard for
Mm-hmm.
them. But coming out of that, everyone was like, "Oh no, this is going to cause Lincoln Cure to decommit," and everyone else that they had gotten to commit, well, they're going to lose all their commits. Well, no, they're not. One bad game isn't going to do that. They're going to bounce back, and they'll be just fine.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things on Lincoln Cure. I'm in KU I'm in KU news stuff, so part of that's a shot at what's his face, Derek Young, and then
Yeah.
we've been making jokes all week. If Jalen comes back, he's going to field offers from big time schools. Oh, Jalen to USC is real, blah, blah, blah. But yeah,
Yeah.
I honestly could.
Yeah, no,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I honestly could see like a USC fielding an offer for Jalen Daniels. I mean, they have the NIL to steal him, and
Well, they just got the number one quarterback in the nation yesterday. USC did. That should keep you guys safe from them.
Gotcha. I thought,
Hussein Longstreet.
yeah, I've only,
Yeah,
I've only, I've only seen Underwood. He went to Michigan, flipped from LSU to Michigan. That's the only one I've seen, but
yeah.
I don't really.
I get
Oh my
all
goodness.
those freaking rankings are so different, though. Depending on
Yeah,
who you see.
I haven't really kept tabs on recruiting rankings. We don't tend to recruit really high, so no need to worry about that.
That's fair.
But yeah, might say
Did you guys see the beef between Michigan and TCU fans?
Hmm.
I actually did
I
not.
saw it.
That was brutal.
Ugh,
Oh my.
ugh.
And what's funny is there are Michigan fans, and I called one of these guys out. Jeremy, I think I sent it to the Grand
Hmm.
Council, and but the one Michigan guy, oh my, he was accusing TCU of
Oh,
cheating
jeez.
with Ryan Day and stuff. So what's funny about that is the guy who is a kicker now for Ottawa, or he's a senior now, so he's graduating. He played for Michigan during that season. And so he was on the show, and I had to ask him. I said, You might get annoyed by this. It's more for fun than anything. Don't worry about it." Uh what are your comments about the cheating scandal and like everything that was supposedly going on? And he goes, "Well, uh the every team in the Big Ten had a system where they had people that would trade other teams' signs to teams they were getting ready to play
Ugh.
throughout the
Just curious.
season."
Have you seen the what's his face documentary on Netflix? The what's
Connor Stallions.
Connor Stallions documentary on Netflix?
I haven't.
No, I haven't. I've been wanting to watch it though.
It's pretty good one. Yeah, that's basically it. Explains and goes all into depth in that.
Yeah, no, basically his comment was everyone in the Big Ten was doing
Mm-hmm.
it.
Well, did you see that?
And
Did you see that Connor
he's
Stallions is coaching that
Bryce
Underwood
Underwood, yeah.
oh
yeah,
yeah,
remainder season? That's funny.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that he was someone I think he attempted maybe 1 point after attempt or something, or maybe it was a chip shot field goal. I can't remember. So he wasn't a big member of his team. If someone that's not as fully involved in the team knows in depth about what was going on, there wasn't anybody within the organization that was oblivious. Jim Harbaugh certainly was not oblivious to the
That
situation.
guy was out of there in a hurry after that happened.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting. Now Michigan's 5-5 and dipping back into irrelevancy. Great.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Uh,
So they deserve it.
yeah, I'm not a big Michigan State guy. I'm not a
No,
big
and I thought. Go ahead.
I'm not a Big Ten guy either. I hate the Big Ten.
No, I thought with them bringing Sharon Moore in, I thought that was kind of a stupid ass move. I didn't really understand why they did that. It was like, oh, well, he knows some of the players, and he went, what was it, 3-0 whenever Harbaugh was out, but they played like East Carolina and like like big teams. I was like, okay, that's doesn't make. But I think my problem with Sharon Moore is just the fact that he's an OU alum.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no. Ugh.
Yeah. OU and Texas are both traitors.
Can't stand either of them.
Oh,
I thought.
funny story about the shirt. I don't think Jeremy saw it before I threw the KU jersey on, but this is from the Sweet 16 game I went to a couple years ago when K State made the Elite Eight
Oh yeah.
and a certain KU team didn't. Uh, anyway, so we got tickets really, really cheap to the Texas Sweet 16 game. And so I took my son up there and he had a blast. Of course, he loved going to the Sprint Center for the Big 12 tournament and stuff. But during the Big 12 tournament and the Sweet 16 game, I started the arena's chant 3 or 4 different times of SEC aimed right at them.
Awesome.
It was funny when OU fans like to act like, "Oh, we've always wanted to be in the SEC," but every time that they would play an SEC team, like 5, 6 years ago, anytime that they would be up on, it, they go SEC, SEC, and then they would always talk about how much they hate the SEC. Now they're like, "Oh yeah, this is where we always wanted to be." I'm like,
They got
"You bullshitters!"
they got what they wanted, and they're probably not going to be bowl eligible by the end of the season.
Well, they got to beat Alabama and LSU. I don't see either one of those two things happening.
I don't either. Well, although
Nope.
LSU has looked pretty shaky recently.
But they got to go to Baton Rouge, though. That's my thing.
Oh yeah, they're not beating LSU in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, because I mean,
No.
South Carolina just beat the high holy dog piss out of OU. I mean, it wasn't even close, and that was at home.
Yeah.
OU's got no offense. But here's my thing: we're not bowl eligible, and so I just pray that they don't get bowl eligible because they will ride that one home to the bank. And honestly, it's been pretty nice since they went to the SEC because honestly, we just don't even act like we know each other anymore. That's the best thing. I mean, every now and then things will spar up, but for me, it's like, screw y'all. You guys are gone. I don't care about y'all. Go on.
I have no use for them anymore.
But it's funny though, because on their way out, when they lost to Kansas, everybody dunked on, and even though you guys were good last year, everyone dunked on them for it. But now they're acting like that they're in the SEC. They're like, well, we ran the Big 12 all those years, and everybody's like, motherfucker, you all lost to Kansas last year.
KU has
Same with
KU has
Texas.
eternal scoreboard on OU.
Mm-hmm. We do too. We do too. That's why I tell everybody we sold our souls for that game.
Yeah.
We won that game, and ever since then we've been in oblivion.
Oh my God! How much did Jerome Tang sell his soul to go to the Elite Eight?
Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah, that
is he really
was
that bad?
I don't know. Like it's like he can't I don't know if it's
I
him,
can't watch him play
but
non-con games. They don't run sets at all.
we don't run an offense, period.
Like,
No offense whatsoever.
yeah, he's beaten KU the last 2 years though. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I was really, really sad because that was one of the 3 home games that I missed. And I kicked myself for not going to that.
Tree, you live in Ottawa. Isn't that right in Manhattan's backyard? Or not Manhattan, but Lawrence's backyard?
Oh yeah, yeah, no, we're 15 minutes from Lawrence.
I was going to say, because when I went up to KCK a few weeks ago, I went up 169 through Ottawa and all that. Like, I thought it said it was only like 30 minutes to Lawrence, 30 miles to Lawrence or something like that. So
Yeah.
how far is it
Yeah, and
from
I
your
live
place?
on the north end, so it's probably about 15, 18 minutes there, depending on if you follow the speed limit, which nobody does.
So how far are you from Manhattan then?
About 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
Not
about
too
an
bad.
hour away from Topeka, about an hour away from Kansas City, and about 15 minutes away from Lawrence. So
okay, I guess the
it's
Steelers are about to lose this game. Jesus
I
Christ!
just watched that. That's why I was hesitant. I was watching it going, oh my.
Yeah, I would love for that to happen for the Chiefs. Then we only need Buffalo to lose to the 49ers 2-8.
Yeah, but still, that's ridiculous to do that. And the fact that they're gonna do this with Jameis Winston
Mm-hmm.
and Deshaun Watson couldn't get it done in any of the games he played.
Yeah. All right, back to college basketball. We played Duke.
Yeah, no, I would like to see at least, you know, at least 8 of our teams in the tournament
That's a good number.
this year.
I don't. Baylor doesn't look. I mean, depending on your thoughts on St. John's, Baylor doesn't look to be all that great this year. I mean, they got.
Yeah.
I guess they have beaten Arkansas and St. John's, so let's see how that works out. But it'll be interesting for sure.
Oh yeah, no, the Big 12 all the way around is going to be uh interesting, definitely. And adding BYU into the mix is going to make everything way more fun.
Dybonsa is probably going there, so the battle
Yeah.
between him, the
Yeah.
battle between him and Darren Peterson next year will be a heck of a matchup. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah. And we held out a little hope that maybe he would want to come here, but we knew that he was going there.
Yeah, I think he's always been a BYU Cougar. I mean, that was that was the hearing like a month and a half ago. Even it's like he was always going to BYU. So
Well, and I read a deal from, I can't remember who it was now, that BYU was ready to offer him, I think, 5 million or
oh
something like
Jesus
that.
Christ,
5 or 7
we aren't
million.
even paying Hunter Dickinson that much.
Nor should
I
you.
think we're paying him what, 2 million.
Yeah.
So
But at least, he's producing more than Coleman Hawkins for that
I
price.
don't I don't necessarily think that Coleman Hawkins is getting $2 million.
Yeah.
I I have very little very little knowledge on that, but I would bet you he's not getting $2 million.
Well, it was a private donor that's paying it, but I have a
Oh, okay.
feeling that by the end of the season,
No.
that those checks are going to be diminished by quite a bit if some things don't change
What
as they
is
should.
that legal?
What
I
I
mean,
meant to say is, if I was
yeah,
them,
no.
the checks would diminish by quite a bit.
Yeah. Just say, "Oh, taxes took out so and
Yeah.
so." Uh,
Yeah, you're now in a higher tax
yeah.
bracket suddenly.
Well, good for him. Good for him. I mean,
Yeah.
whew, that's highway robbery right there. I mean, I think he averaged basically a KJ Adams a game last year.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you think about KJ Adams, but we are not very high on him here.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. And for someone that had locker room issues in the past, like, especially with Coach Tang, like, do you really think that he was a good fit?
Yeah, I don't know. I was actually surprised Doug McDaniel sat out the other night. I was
Yeah, that's also the same kind of an issue. It's one of those deals that uh he kind of has a bit of an attitude problem,
yeah,
and
I could see
so
that.
he rubbed the coaches the wrong way.
Mhm. I could see that.
And he might have, I can't remember, if I don't know if this is true or not, but he might have yelled at somebody during practice
Oh, jeez.
and cussed them out.
Uh-oh.
And I think that was part of it.
Yeah, that's always a risk with the portal. You kind of hear around, but you don't know exactly what you're getting. I mean, I guess completely unrelated note, Arterio Morris last year. Oh, Jesus Christ. We,
That was rough.
I don't want to talk about it. Oh my! You bring him to campus, and
Yeah.
then that happens, and it's like, oh my God, that's a horrible look for the basketball program.
Yeah, it was. And it it was a lot worse than the Naquan Tomlin situation, which was blown way out of proportion from what had actually happened in the first
See,
place.
I have
But
no idea what actually happened in that situation. So I've heard one
so
thing and then another and then another.
yeah, well, apparently someone had said something to him and he went to hit them and he inadvertently uh hit his friend or a bouncer, I don't remember which one,
Gotcha.
and someone else called the cops
See, I
and then right as we are about to get him back, like I talked to him the game before he got released from the team and he was getting ready. He had started getting ready to warm up with the team and stuff, and was practicing with the team and was getting ready to play. All they were waiting on was the okay from Richard Linton, and then right after that game, I think it was. I don't remember which game it was, but it might have been the Nebraska game,
hmm
maybe. I can't, like I said, I can't remember which game it was, but after that game, there were a bunch of students that protested on Richard Linton's yard and said free Naquan, and so he freed him, just not in the way we wanted.
yeah. How did he look for Memphis last year? I didn't really keep tabs on him.
He played all right. Like he had a few games where he put up, 20, 25
Yeah,
points and had a lot of big rebounding games, but I mean, he didn't have the season he would have had for K-State last year.
yeah. No, it's
And in
totally.
person, he looked good. Like he looked like he was in shape, ready to play because
hmm
when Memphis came to Wichita State to play them not that long after he signed with them, we went to that game just to watch him play, and he looked really good in person.
That's good, and I would bet that learning a new system definitely takes time. So it's no fault of his own that he looked not quite as good as he should have.
Well, exactly, and the fact that he had started working out with the team and you know that was just preparing to be back with his team that he was supposed to be with,
hmm
and it was just ended that way.
Yeah. Uh, Trying to see, is he still on Memphis's roster?
No, he went to the NBA draft
Gotcha.
because I think he was a senior, so
Gotcha. Okay.
which sucked.
Yeah, I know Memphis beat Mizzou earlier this year. I just I didn't know if he was still on the team or not.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. Memphis had a few decent shooters, but the interesting thing from the Wichita State game was where we were sitting. We were basically right next to where Wichita State's band was
hmm
at, and so when Naquan finally got into the game, we were quiet up until that point, and then we were cheering for Naquan at that point, and that's all we cheered for the entire night was just Naquan, you know. But
Yeah, I
the
get that.
band realized that we were all wearing our K State shirts,
hmm
and so the band, because they were losing and had nothing else to do, started yelling and chanting insults about K
Oh,
State
jeez.
to us.
Yeah, they're a different kind of breed of fans. I mean, they're like the little brother that never was. You know, like they were good so long ago, so they still think they're relevant, and it's just,
Yeah, they're no longer paying players illegally, so they can't be good.
yeah. Ugh.
And what happened to their football team?
I don't want to talk about that. That's a little too graphic. Oh my God, the Browns just beat the Steelers.
Wow. Yeah, mine's glitching, so like I didn't even get to see the final play.
Yeah, that's that's incredible. That's big for the Chiefs. I'll take that.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, we got Duke.
Yep, we can get Buffalo to lose.
You got 49ers 2 weeks from now. That should be a good game. Hopefully they lose.
Yep.
Ugh.
Hopefully that's one that our fellow former Big 12 player Brock Purdy goes off on.
Uh-huh.
And
Ugh.
so,
But yeah.
well, I think that it's about time to end the show. But any final thoughts from you?
Nope. Duke on Tuesday. Looking forward to it. Other than that,
Rock Chalk,
actually
baby. Oh, that hurt.
Colorado on Saturday too. That's better pack Arrowhead. Rock chalk, baby.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. Once again, this has been an incredible debut for Storm the Field KU presented by Tree City Sports. On all of our shows, a huge thank you to Jared and everybody at Arrowhead Nutrition. Keep up the great energy teas and nutritional shakes. You can also order some of their key kits online so you can make it at home. Good night, everybody. Y'all take care now.